women of the class of 2012.
Welcome to the next stage of your journey.
In your years at Boston College,
we urge you to grow in the spirit of Jesuit education.
Learn to be attentive,
to be reflective, and to be loving.
So that when you walk in the same procession 4 years from now,
you will be men and women who are wise
and great-hearted,
ready to make a difference in the world.
Light 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 the world.
Every year at the beginning of the academic year, I see these eager freshman faces, so full of life and hope and aspiration. And I often wonder, how will these aspirations be fulfilled? How will they indeed go out and implement this great dictum of Ignatius to set the world aflame? I know they're going to do it. I know they will. And when they do, they're going to join the vast rank of so many Boston College alumni who have made so many contributions to this great world of ours.
Go light the world aflame. My sense of the charge of Ignatius to go light the world begins at BC with those teachers who said to me, you can be somebody extraordinary. You have gifts dealing with children and families that other people don't have. And it is almost your responsibility to go and to use those gifts wisely. It is for most people the most important thing that's ever going to happen in their family's life, to have a child with cancer. If you can bring light into that darkness, if you can help the child live, if you can help the child die peacefully, if that is what their lot is in the end, if you can help them become a long-term survivor, if you can help that family grow from such an experience, then you have brought light into a lot of dark places.
I was walking across campus with a friend. We came to McElroy for lunch. There was a recruiter from the Peace Corps there, and he said, let's sign up for the Peace Corps. I said, okay. It was as good as the interviews I was taking with Mobil and Ford and General Electric and everything else. And then the night of my senior prom, I got home. My mother said, you got a letter from the Peace Corps. And it said, welcome, you have been accepted to the Peace Corps in Ghana. And I said, Mom, where's Ghana? And she said, I don't know, I think it's in South America someplace. A month later, I was on my way. But I just had that sense that there was more to my life and what I should be doing than just to stay there in Boston and work for the telephone company or the Edison. There was something I could bring, there was something I could carry, and here I am, 40 years later, doing what I never thought I would do when I started Boston College. But it just turned out perfect.
Social justice wasn't really a phrase that I came to BC with at the age of 18. My particular time at BC was during the course of the Vietnam War itself. I mean, Robert Kennedy was assassinated, as was Martin Luther King. So the sense of social issues just reigned big. I think it became a part of our DNA. It's not about you, it's about the work. Whether you're on a federal commission, or whether you work in a committee, or you're in a group planning some kind of event. It's not about us personally. It's about the purpose of why we're there. And so that's, I think, the framing is something that comes back to BC. It's a larger purpose for which we are here. And we are stewards, and you want to be the best tool for the purpose of the work of this art that we're about to shape.
I didn't understand at the time the things that I was doing and taking part in, and how they did and would shape me and help me to succeed in things later in life. I was really focused on how cool the campus was and how great the students were and how fun the sports events were and just living and being a student. But now when I look back on it, I realize there was something else happening too that was really fascinating. Where at BC, you're exposed to a broad set of topics and classes and ideas to really help you expand as a person and as a student beyond just following one rote path. But I didn't realize that later in life that I'd be finding myself in careers and jobs and roles I could never have predicted. And when that happened, now I had the ability to be flexible, to be fast, to really learn new things quickly. Today I can work in high tech and still have that creative excitement and interest, and still have the ability to feel comfortable that I can learn technical disciplines, because I was learning it all along. That never stopped. BC really helped foster that.
I was just coming out of a foster care system. When I arrived on the campus in that fall, at a time when I noticed almost immediately that a lot of my classmates were and had arrived with their parents. I arrived with all my belongings in a single suitcase, and I could see that my classmates were actually ready to leave home. And for me, I was still trying to find home. I think over the course of my years, Boston College said, you belong here. Diversity has a tendency to be defined by physical characteristic or quality. Within Boston College, I learned that it was really diversity of thought that was as important, if not more important. I think that the overall emphasis on intellectual exploration, you know, how does something come to be, or why is this so, which I think is at the core of the Jesuit philosophy of teaching, is something that I've taken with me in virtually everything I do.
A lot of times, as a blind climber, you feel like, you know, a Jamaican bobsledder. You feel like a fish out of water, but on the other side, you feel like a pioneer, like you're doing important stuff that's really, in a way, kind of nudging society forward in various ways. Part of my life is actually climbing, you know, really hard physical adventures. But the other half, which is equally as gratifying, has been taking people that have traditionally been on the sidelines in life, who have said, you know, I'm too slow, I'm too old, I'm too heavy, I'm too deaf, I'm too blind, and bringing them into the mainstream. At Boston College, it was the first time that I really learned that I could take challenges, and they weren't going to destroy me, but they were something I could harness, you know, use as a springboard to propel me forward to places that I might not have gone to in any other way.
In February of 2006, I came down to St. Bernard Parish, which is a community adjacent to New Orleans' Lower Ninth Ward. And when we got here, we were grossly unprepared for what we saw. And what we saw were hardworking Americans who, for the first time in their lives, needed help. People who had owned their homes, who'd paid their taxes, who'd been contributing members of their community, who 6 months after Hurricane Katrina were homeless, and there was no plan to get them back into their houses. So after volunteering here for about a month, we decided that we could either come back and be a part of the solution, or go home and be a part of the problem and not fix anything. So we came back down in June of 2006. We developed an office space, and that summer we started working on our first client's house. One of the things that BC provided for me was helping me create my lens, sort of my worldview and the values that I have. It gave me practical experience when I was in college and in undergrad to experience exactly why social justice is so important. And so it's one thing to be a starry-eyed 19, 20, 21-year-old saying, I'm going to go out there and do this and do this. It's another thing to have experiences in communities that are really struggling and understanding that it takes a lot of time and commitment to fix those kinds of problems out there.